Trigger point? Something you do that I pick up on, which tells me that you are still on the right future path. Our path. And therefore what happens between X and Z is Y. He grins widely, proud of his own analogy. But what did I do? Surely that's not mind reading. You already saw Z, whatever Z is. What does Y matter? I ask, frustrated and carrying on with this alphabetical analogy. Y is what makes you human, Maya. Y is free will. It is the split second where you have a choice of doing either one thing or another. Y is also the near present. I cannot control what you do next. Neither can I control external factors, like whether the rain starts falling from the sky, or your phone rings right now and interrupts the conversation, or whether a tree falls and knocks us right out. Things would alter that would alter the current situation. I nod, slowly, to let him know that I'm following him. Slowly. It's okay, he reassures. It takes time to get your head around it. I know. Okay, well, as long as you know where I stand. You're really, really stretching my imagination here. All I know is, he continues, why is the thought that must have been formulating in your head that very second, in order for Z to happen immediately after. I cross my arms, still baffled, still needing proof. So what was Z then? You bit your lip. What? I was expecting something profound. You bit your lip, he repeated, emphasizing the triviality. I could tell that he knew I was impressed, and he was milking this moment for all it was worth. Even if I didn't understand exactly what he was saying, it didn't take a genius to imagine the ridiculous speed with which his brain must be thinking in order to process all the information so quickly. Right after I said that, I wasn't quite as low as Human 2.0. Your brows furrowed. There was a momentary blank, quick as lightning, and the next thing I saw was you biting your lip. That was my cue. I saw X, and I saw Z. Therefore, just as I was making that calculation, Y must have been going on in your head, just as planned. But surely you could have just heard yourself saying something about 10 different kinds of human and deduced from that what I was thinking. When will you understand, Maya? I still couldn't get over the way he said my name every so often, as if he was still trying to get used to it. I can't make my move until you make yours. My future directly correlates to yours. I didn't know that's what I would say until the words were coming out of my mouth. I guess I should have clarified earlier. What I meant was, I know how this, he gestures to the two of us, ends. But that all relies on you sticking to the path we were always on. Obviously, things are a little different now. He pauses, taking in every second around us. Taking in everything around us. Any second, something could come along and distract us, to pull us away from each other. I can see that happening here, and I'd have no power over that. Momentum, isn't it? Just like this afternoon. Something will keep traveling in the same direction with the same speed until it is acted upon by another force, I confirm for him. I get it. I wondered what had happened this afternoon to take us off course. What was our course anyway? But just as this thought enters my head, another one completely distracts me, and I remember something else I'd been meaning to clarify. This afternoon, the boys, Jack. Saying Jack's name out loud right now seemed so out of place, like he somehow didn't belong here in the quiet of the woods. Sammy, Joe, DJ, the others. They don't see you the way I do. The realization finally hit me. No, they don't. But why? How? You're so bright, and you're so not here. I even tried to look past him to prove my point. I could just make out Jess's fuzzy outline lying patiently behind him. It was like looking through a pixelated semi-translucent image, except the image, his image, was in full, clear, high definition. That's why he looked weird. He looked too real, like he was made of something more. They see what they want to see, just like I've manifested into exactly what you want to see. I couldn't deny that. He was, to me at least, perfect in every way. Like I said, the boy from my dreams. I guess it's hard to see you as nothing but a ball of light, of energy, although you certainly feel that way to me. Still, you could have chosen something a little more inconspicuous. He laughs. It's not my fault you have such a vivid imagination. I get back to my point, a more pressing, intriguing concern. But what if they touched you, when you're clearly not all there? I even lifted my hand as if to touch him, and even he was startled by my sudden confidence. We were facing each other by this point, sitting cross-legged, still mirroring each other, like best friends immersed in a deep conversation. We only had eyes for each other, the forest, the trees, Jess, the creek, the sky above, the increasingly cold soil beneath, the jay, the squirrels, the houses and highways somewhere in our distant radius. None of it existed. There was only me and him, the stranger who had walked into my life and revealed to me exactly what I'd been missing all along. Well, then there'd be problems. Problems? I was suddenly worried. What kind of problems? How do you think they'd react if they tried to punch me and ended up falling straight through? Worse yet, if they bounced straight off me. I'm not entirely sure how this thing works. Is that why I can't touch you, but I can feel you? How does that work? I never said you couldn't try. I imagined what it'd be like to reach out and just touch him. I was so tempted to, but I wasn't quite ready for that yet. I knew the minute I reached out and felt nothing but air, that the dream would be over. All a hallucination. Like I said, it was from the very start. Besides, you don't feel me, do you? It was a statement more than a question. You feel something, but it's kind of like holding two magnets together. The strange pull you feel when you put two like ends together. But surely I should just collapse into you. If we're meant to be together, if you're really my soulmate, we should just click, right? Yeah, I thought about that today. When I left you, I was wondering why you didn't just immediately gravitate towards me. And likewise, I felt like there was something, a barrier sort of, that was stopping me from just reaching out and, well, grabbing you and taking you into my arms. This time he was burning red hot in the spotlight. It felt like an electric blanket had just been thrown over the two of us. Anyway, he continued, I don't understand that either, but I'm guessing it's because your charge changed when you got here. Does that mean we're not compatible anymore? Were we ever really compatible? Were we ever really meant to be? People change all the time, Maya. It's whether you change together, in harmony, in perfect balance, that determines how long a couple lasts and grows together. I sat there, staring at him, trying to read him. I was thinking all sorts of things. Jack, for one, kept creeping into my brain. Every time Sebastian would say something about us being soulmates, about love and harmony and what makes couples work, well, I couldn't help but think of Jack. How could I not? My relationship with him was the only reference point I had to base things on, to compare. Everything had been perfect until today. As far as I was aware, things were still perfect with him, so long as he could explain what all the tension was about this afternoon. Still, I felt like Sebastian, real or not, had a lot to show me. I was enraptured by him, completely and utterly beguiled. I shivered despite myself. I didn't realize how dark it had gone. I felt like I could talk to Sebastian for hours. It was so natural. I glanced at my watch. 7:38 p.m. 7:38? Crap. I didn't realize how it was so late. We've been talking for nearly 4 hours. And yet it doesn't feel long enough, does it? I raised my eyebrows, scrutinizing the smile floating on his head, cocked to one side. No, it really doesn't.